Good morning. Let's open it up today with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. So this morning we're going to read from Numbers. It's Numbers 11, 24 through 30. So Numbers 11, 24 through 30. So Moses went out and told the people the words of the Lord, and he gathered 70 men of the elders of the people and placed them around the tent. Then the Lord came down in the cloud and spoke to him, and took some of the spirit that was on him and put it on the 70 elders. And as soon as the spirit rested on them, they prophesied, but they did not continue doing it. Now 2 men remained in the camp, one named Eldad and the other named Medad. And the spirit rested on them. They were among those registered, but they had not gone out to the tent. And so they prophesied in the camp. And a young man ran and told Moses, Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp. And Joshua, the son of Nun, the assistant of Moses from his youth, said, My lord Moses, stop them. But Moses said to him, Are you jealous for my sake? Would that all the Lord's people were prophets, and that the Lord would put his spirit on them. And Moses and the elders of Israel returned to the camp. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Have you ever thought that we are currently living a chapter in the history books? Pretty cool. Don't know if anybody wanted to sign up for that, but that's what we've got. And I never thought about it either. We were actually we had a graduation ceremony. It was a parade that we had for Ian. He's graduating this year, and we had actually 2 parades this weekend. We had one at the high school where they went around the high school, and that's actually where he got his diploma this weekend. It was pretty cool, and that's where we were. We were standing, and we went through with Ian in his truck, and we were standing there, and we were cheering some of the other people on as they were coming through. And we were standing with some people we knew, and this one lady, she said, yeah, we're actually living a chapter in the history books. And if you think about it, that's true. When the future history books are going to be written, they're going to include some chapter or something in the history books about this time that we're in right now. So it's a unique thing that we have going on, and it's happening all throughout the world. So we're actually making world history right now. And if you ever thought about wanting to be in a book, right, written about or something like that, this might not be the way that you wanted to have it done. It might be a little bit different than how you thought it should be. Everything's different. I mean, think about it. We were celebrating Ian's high school graduation by riding in the truck with him around the school while he got his diploma. That was not how anybody expected that to go. And people are, trying to reach out to help each other. We've got a completely different world. We shop different now. You go to Walmart different now. A lot of places, you're required to wear a mask if you go in a store. Almost everybody that works in stores now, when you walk in, they all have a mask on. It used to be the only people in a store with a mask on was somebody getting ready to rob the place. So, things are different now. And it's not unique to where we are. This is all over the world. So, it's different. And I was thinking about this passage this week. with Moses and everybody in Israel that are around, and they're it's the same kind of thing. They were even in their time, they were trying to figure it out. They didn't know really what was going on. They were trying to figure it out. They were making it up as they went. They're following Moses around. Moses is listening to God, and they're trying to listen to Moses, and everybody's getting on each other's nerves, and they, kind of at each other's throat a little bit. Sometimes it just the tensions get high, and there's really, they were just going through it. There was not necessarily any rules to go by. They were just wandering through the desert and listening to Moses. Moses was listening to God, and as they went, they were kind of given their orders. They were given their marching orders, told what to do, when to do it at that time. Kind of like what we're doing right now. And it's we're all living it. It's tough, but it's just the way it is. We're not going to be able to really do anything about it. And it's the same thing with them. They really couldn't do anything about it. So, but it's still interesting to see, because we have an advantage of being able to go back, pick up a book, read the words in here, and see what happened. Now, one of the things that God gave us is an intellect and the ability to reason. Not just an intellect to think about stuff, but He actually gave us the ability to create, to absorb knowledge, what we call knowledge, take it in, think through it, and reason what to do with it. It's important to do that and not to take it for granted, because I don't know a lot of people really how far they take that. I think a lot of times people kind of stick it on autopilot and say, let's see what happens. But that's not really how we were built to go through the world. We were supposed to go through the world with all these, things to intercept this information. We have sensors. We can see, we can smell, taste, hear, feel, right? And through all of those things, and the ability to listen to each other and sympathize with each other, learn from each other, all this stuff. And it would truly be a shame right now, as we're writing some history book chapter, that we wouldn't actually pick up some lessons from somewhere and try to learn from it, and try to take some of these lessons, see some, take the good, reason from the good, also look at the bad, reason from the bad, figure out what to do and what not to do. Because the reality is in the Bible, a lot of times people think the Bible is full of all kinds of goodness. Well, it's also all full of all kinds of stuff and lessons to learn of things that didn't work out the right way. Not everybody, there's only one perfect person in this whole book, right? It's not Moses. So it's interesting to look back and look at some of these things and have the ability to be able to learn from some of these mistakes that people made, and to go into the world as we go into it every day, and hopefully not do the same mistakes that they did. Why not? Why would we go off on our own tangent and make it up? Why not reason and look and trust in God and pray and ask for guidance and look for the things that we ask for? Don't just pray and pray and pray and forget to listen to what God has to say to you, and some of the directions and the things that He tells you to go, and take that in and go apply it to the world. Because here's the reality. All this happened thousands of years ago. We're reading about it still today, thousands of years later. So this chapter that they were living, we're reading about it right now. And the thing is do you think they knew that they were writing history? Maybe they did. Why not? Because we can realize that we are. So if we realize that the magnitude of everything that's going on right now is going to be in history books for people to read hundreds of years later, maybe thousands, why do you think that, they would not have the same ability or the same, maybe they did know. But the interesting thing about it is, now that we know that we know that we're actually in such a time that we get to be included in this chapter in history, you and me, we all have the ability to figure out what we want history to say about us in this time. We get to have influence in what we want our chapter to sound like and to read like and to be, and for other people to learn from. So you got to ask yourself, how do I want to be remembered? How do I want to be remembered in this history chapter that's going to be written about me? And we have responsibility for that. We have responsibility in the world, in our community, in our family, in our neighborhood, right? And Moses did it very simple. He just followed God's will. That was it. He just kind of kept it simple and said, I'm going to just do that. Okay, everybody else would come running to Moses, oh, they're doing this and they're doing this. He said, hey, they're prophesying in the camp. Moses said, great, I think everybody should be. I wish God would put his spirit on everybody. Why not? He said, Moses said, look, I'm not, I'm not jealous. Moses didn't really want this thing anyway. So, it's up to us to decide, okay, what are we going to do? And that is a decision that you get to make. It's that simple. So, do you want to be remembered by, riots that happen out in cities and just, chaos and that kind of thing? Or do you want to be remembered for trying to reach out and help other people? You get to pick. If you follow the will of God, I really don't think that he would have you going out and trying to do harm to people that do not need to be harmed in any way, shape, or form. I think that he would want us all to band together with goodness in our hearts and reach out and help each other through this time that we're in, and come out to find that, hey, you know what? Maybe this is the next great generation that's coming up. That all these kids and all these people that are graduating high school, graduating college, that are coming up, and just all of us living through it, maybe we've got some really neat stuff to learn. And maybe the thing that we can learn is we can band together and create more goodness in the world than there is badness in the world. There's always going to be badness. Don't think you can get rid of it. So it's not the removal of badness, but in the face of things that are not quite right, what do you do? How do you respond? And if you can lean on God and lean on God's will, I'm sure he will find you another avenue to respond that is something in line with what his will would be, and much less of what you would try to create on your own. And the unique thing about that is we will actually have a history book that might just resemble some of the words out of this book that we call the Bible. It would be a very interesting history book to read one day. Hopefully, some of our great grandkids or great grandkids can read it and say, man, that's a pretty unique bunch back then. Hopefully I can be like them. But we're not going to do it on our own. You got to lean on God and lean on each other. So please take some time and reach out to each other and stay in some form of hope and gratitude, and hold on to each other tight. And remember, never let go of God, because he'll never let go of you. Let's pray. Thank you, good Lord, for everything. Thank you so much for taking care of us, and thank you for leading us through this time that you have in our life. Please hold on to us tight and let us always remember that you are there with us. Let us feel your presence each and every day. In the precious name of Christ we pray. Amen.
Let the